Ladies and gentlemen, bam, bam, we are live. And we are ready to rock and roll. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. If you're coming on, welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. I am your host, Ramon Preston. And every Monday through Friday, we show up here on this show to give you the game, to share information with you that we know can help you increase your income, start, structure, and scale your business, help you build a legacy for you and for your family. And if you are ready to get the game today for part 2 of our discussion on the power of a financial plan, I want you to hit that like button. I want you to hit that share button. I want you to tag Lolly Dolly, everybody, and tell them, Prophet Ramon, the squad, we are live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. Today is Thursday. Is it February 17th? Yep. Yesterday was my grandbaby's birthday, so I can remember. Today is the 17th. And guess what? We are live in his house. So today I'm talking about part 2 of our discussion. Part 2 of our discussion on the power of a financial plan. Where you at? Financial plan. That's what we're talking about today. This is going to be part 2. Yesterday we started this discussion. This is really going to be a 5-part discussion. I'll be talking about it tomorrow, Friday. I'll be talking about it Monday and Tuesday, because Wednesday I will be in South Florida preparing for a couple days of amazing events. So if you're coming on, please hit the like button, hit the share button, tag somebody, and please put in the comments where you're watching me from, what city you represent today. I'm representing Buckhead. What city are you representing? Maybe it's a certain state you're representing. Maybe it's a certain country you are representing. I don't know. You might be with Elon Musk up there in Mars. If you represent Mars and you on the Star Trek Enterprise, put it in the comments and let your boy know. I'm super, super excited. And I hope you are excited today. Yesterday, I started this 5-part series on the power of a financial plan. And I shared with you a lot of information with regard to a financial plan. So just a quick recap on what we covered yesterday. We have established the fact that a financial plan from a professional perspective can easily be described as an assessment and an evaluation of all of your short-term and long-term financial goals. So in most cases, if you were to speak to a professional or someone who understood financial planning, they may take some time to assess your personal, your professional, and financial situation. They may take some time to evaluate your personal, professional, and financial situation, and they may help you craft a financial goal to show you for the short term and for the long term what exactly you need to do, or what exactly are they recommending you to do in order to reach whatever the financial goal that you have. That would be more of a professional financial plan. A personal financial plan is simply you sitting down, figuring out what you want to do, where you want to go, and what it's going to actually take to get there, and how you're going to make it happen. That would be more of a personal financial plan. Most people, whether they have a personal financial plan or whether they have gone to somebody, which most people never go to a professional, because a lot of professionals are not even going to sit down with you if you ain't got finances to have a financial plan for. If you're not in a financial position, most people either don't look into going to a professional or just go to a professional, and when the professional gives you a preliminary assessment, they may say, you know what, come back to me when you got a couple dollars, or come back to me when you got a job, or come back to me at a different point in your financial life. So when it comes to a financial plan, I'm not going to dismiss the professional plan that you need. I'm not going to dismiss the personal plan that you need, because they have a role in what my version of a financial plan is. And for me, a financial plan needs to be a practical It needs to be a practical, step-by-step solution and strategy I can't even spell strategy. Based process. This is what a financial plan needs to be. So if you're going to put a financial plan together for 2022, if you've already put some together and you are not clear on it, or it really ain't resonating with you because you ain't doing nothing with it, then you want to revisit it and make sure that your financial plan is not just a professional plan or a professional's perspective of a plan. You want to make sure it's not just some personal aspiration that you have or some personal resolution that you have decided to write down and to reread and quote every day. You want to make sure that your financial plan is a practical, step-by-step solution and strategy based process. So in order for my financial plan to work, first of all, it needs to be practical. And for it to be practical, that means it doesn't need to be so intellectual. It doesn't need to be so full of information that I don't even have nothing to grab hold to on what I can do today, what I can do tomorrow, what I can do the next day, what I can do the day after that, what can I do next week, and how are all these things that I'm doing on a step-by-step basis, how are they all bringing me to a certain financial point? That's why your financial plan needs to be practical. It needs to be step by step, because you can't do it all in one day. You can't do it all in one time. It has to be practical. It's got to be something that I can digest, I can wrap my mind around. It's got to be step by step. So that means I want to go to A, and then I want to do what A tell me to do. I want to go to B, and I want to do what B tell me to do. I want to get to C, and I want to do what C tell me to do. I want to get to D, and I want to do what D tell me to do. And then I want to look back at A, B, C, and D and see if I actually did what was needed to be done at A, at B, at C, and at D, and did I get any results? So that means my financial plan has to be practical, it's got to be step by step, and it's got to be solution and strategy based. So that means my financial plan has to tackle certain problems. It has to address certain issues, not the problems and the issues that I think are the problems and the issues, but it has to address the problems and the issues. Let me give an example of this, because this is powerful, y'all. I remember when I was putting myself in the mindset that I wanted to become a millionaire. We're talking about 4 years ago. Y'all hear me talk about it all the time, and you're going to keep hearing me talk about it because it's true. But I remember when I finally made the decision that I'm going to get wealthy, I want to be a millionaire, I'm going to go ahead and just do the doggone thing, and I'm going to make whatever sacrifices I got to make to do it. At the time, I did not have money. I was making money. I had income coming in, but all the income that was coming in was going out. I didn't have a savings. I didn't have a reserves. I didn't have a whole lot of nothing that I could look at and say, wow, I've accomplished something. In other words, I didn't have a financial plan. Okay? I was just scrapping, waking up every day, hustling and grinding, getting out there, killing whatever I need to kill to eat that day, and repeat the same thing the next day. That's the way life was for me from a financial perspective. Okay? But once I started putting a financial plan together, I realized that there were certain practical step-by-step solutions and strategies that I needed a process for, even though I didn't have the money. This is one of the hardest things for people to do, because a lot of times your financial plan is going to include education. I want you to catch this. It's going to include education and training. But the problem, here's what the problem is. The problem is when you ain't got no money, your mind cannot make sense of education and training, because your mind is telling you, I need money. But when you do not get education and training, you never convert anything into money because you don't have anything to convert. So that means you got to learn and educate and train and develop and build the muscle and become more aware of what is necessary, so that as you start practicing these step-by-step strategy-based, solution-based processes, when you start seeing the money, you're able to use that and duplicate it so that you can continue to move forward. So I want you to think about a financial plan as such. A financial plan is, or should be, a practical, it should be a very practical step-by-step strategy or solution and strategy based process. Now, I have given to you, yesterday I shared it, today I'm sharing it. I'm gonna continue to share it because I feel like for those of you that are like a few weeks away from getting your income tax returns, and you're gonna get a couple bands, you're gonna get the bag, you're gonna have a little money. If you ain't got no financial plan, that money gonna be gone by the middle of March. That money gonna be gone by April 12th. That money gonna be gone in 3-4 weeks. You know why? It's not that you wanted to get rid of the money, and it's not that you didn't need to do what you needed to do with it. It's not that you didn't have a responsibility to pay people back, pay bills, get caught up on certain things. It's that you did not have a clear financial plan. This is the part that some of you that's watching me today need to understand. Just because you don't have money, just because you ain't in a financial position to fix anything, doesn't mean you don't need a financial plan. And the sooner you get a plan and put it together and put it to practice, the sooner you're going to get free. You're not going to just get free by saying, I'm tired of being broke. You're not going to get free just by saying, I want to do better. You're going to get free by putting a plan together, which is a practical step-by-step, solution-based, strategy-based process, and working that process every day. That was the hardest thing for me, because to have to wake up every day. I remember the first day it hit me. This was 4 years ago. I remember the first day it hit me, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so far in debt. I got collectors calling me left and right. I mean, every other phone call, all it said on my phone was scam likely. I already knew what that was. I knew what scam likely meant. Somebody trying to call me, and then they leave a voice message, and you can hear people in the background talking. I'm like, man, ain't nobody got time for that. First thing came to my mind was, you're gonna have to get it like Drake. I ain't got it. But I needed a financial plan. I needed a financial plan, and I needed to get past that mental hurdle of not having anything to fix my problem, but knowing I needed information to fill the blank spots so that at some point I could put that information to practice so I can fix that problem, okay? And so I have given you my personal financial plan. So these 5 steps that I'm sharing with you, that I have built my Millionaire Blueprint around, these 5 steps were and are my financial plan. I did not have a financial planner. I didn't even think I could go have a conversation with one. I didn't know what I needed to do other than what I started learning to do, and I just started doing it. And when I started succeeding and getting results, I made the decision to duplicate that, to document that rather, so that I could duplicate it. And once I looked back and saw how I got through this process financially, I realized that there were certain steps I took, and those steps that I took brought me to financial freedom. Now, there's a lot of stuff in between each step that you got to do, you got to learn. But again, it's better than not doing and learning and staying stuck, because that's where I was in my life. And I've said it many, many times. 4 years ago, I was making 6 figures, but I was spending 6 figures just to live. And I was like, man, I got to get off this cycle. I got to get off this, what do you call it? This hamster wheel. I got to get out of this rat race. And it's the typical classic middle class trap that over 70 to 80% of people in the United States of America are stuck in right now. If you are anywhere between $32,000 a year and up, between that and maybe $300,000 a year, but most people are somewhere between 32 and 100. That part of the middle class is on a hamster wheel, and it's hard to get off that hamster wheel because you got to live off credit cards, because you got to rob Peter to pay Paul, because you go paycheck to paycheck, and all you waiting for is just one big break, and then when you get that one big break, something else break, right? Or when you get that one breakthrough, something else shut down. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. And I've lived that cycle. I've lived below poverty. I've been below the bottom, so I know how that is as well. But I also know once you start doing a little good and making a little money and you got a little bit of stability, when you don't have a financial plan in those high times, you don't have anything to help you in those low times because you did not have a plan. And it's understandable because most of us are not educated on that. Most of us don't have the right information. Most of us have never been exposed to the type of data to help us put that type of financial plan together. This is why I'm helping you. So again, my 5-step millionaire plan that I share with you, and I'm going to give you a link for you to get access to it today for free. I'm offering a free 5-step millionaire plan. It's a part of my Millionaire Blueprint, and it's the 5 steps that I have documented and duplicated, and I have developed because it works for me. I'm still working those 5 steps. I'm still working them. I'm still working them. As a matter of fact, where me and my wife are right now, we are not just continuing to perfect those steps, but we are building an infrastructure for that 5th step. All right. And I'm going to show you again, those 5 steps are: number 1, save a $1,000 up to 1 month of household expenses, 1 month of total household expenses. And again, let me just reiterate, just in case you didn't watch the show yesterday. If you're in a position that you could put $1,000 up, still don't bypass step 1. That's why I say you could save $1,000, or you could put up to 1 month of household expenses up. Now, if you are in a financial position that you could put $1,000 up or 1 month of total household expenses up, I want you to still just set that aside and separate it from other money. So let's say if you got 30, 40 grand, you got 20 grand, you got 18 grand, you got 12 grand, maybe you got 62 grand. I don't know. Maybe you got $2,800. But if you got $1,000 or 1 month of total household expenses that you could set aside, I want you to set that aside. And I want you to act like that money does not even exist, okay? Because you want to just psychologically give yourself that win to say, I did it. I did it. You want to psychologically do that. Like when my wife and I was working on step 1, this is what we did. We had a checking account at the time. I don't even think we might have had a savings account, but it wasn't no money in it. You know, we might have still had like $1 in it. It was still open. But what we did was, instead of putting the $1,000 in the checking account, this is just me and my wife. What me and my wife did was, we just took $1,000 of cash and we just put it up. I think I might have folded it up in aluminum foil or something or whatever. We just put it up, either in the safe or something, but we just put it up, right? We wanted to put the $1,000 up because we wanted to psychologically get that win. All right. Now, if we put the $1,000 up, we started working on step 2. That's what we did, because you want to work on step 2. Now, again, even before I get to step 2, if you don't have $1,000, if you look at the 5-step millionaire plan that I give you access to, it's a manual, it's a PDF manual, but included in that, you'll see that I'm giving you a breakdown of the things that you can do. I'm giving you a breakdown of things that you can do to actually save $1,000. So if you don't have $1,000, what are some things that you can do? So whether you are a W-2 employee, whether you are a 1099, or whether you are a legitimate business owner with the EIN, there's certain strategies that you can implement today to figure out how you could get to that $1,000 as soon as possible. And I give you a lot of different strategies. I also have corresponding courses in my Millionaire Blueprint that teaches you about income shifting as a W-2 employee. It teaches you how to build a business around your 1099, whether you are a real estate agent, an insurance agent, an independent contractor, a network marketer. I show you how to take your 1099 and instead of using your social security number, you convert that into an EIN so you can run your 1099 through a real business system and start building more products and services that you can monetize to get to that $1,000 as soon as possible. So that's step one, save $1,000. And again, I know people who are gonna be getting money in a couple weeks, and guess what you should be thinking about? You should be thinking about what? What should you be thinking about? Not just putting $1,000 up. That's not what you should be thinking about alone. You should be thinking about putting a financial plan together. If you don't have a financial plan, just use my 5 steps. That is your financial plan. Am I making sense to you? So if you don't have a financial plan, take my 5 steps and use them as your financial plan. I'm giving that to you to say, you know what? Prophet Ramon just gave me a financial plan. So now when you're talking to people, you can tell people, I got a financial plan. And when they say, what is your financial plan? Here's what my financial plan is. It's made up of 5 steps. I'm going to do this because I'm going to be debt free. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be financially free. I'm going to be in a financial position that I can live the way I want to live. Okay? So that's step 1. What else about step 1 did I not cover yesterday? I think I pretty much covered everything I needed to cover yesterday. So let's go to step 2. Step 2 of my 5-step millionaire plan, which is your financial plan if you don't have one, is to pay off all consumer debt. Now, before you start saying, just in case you like, man, I can't even get the 1,000. What you mean pay off consumer debt? Well, you need to learn what you need to learn in order to get the 1,000. Like you're listening to somebody, you're watching somebody who started this 5-step process at 0. I started it the same way you have to start it. So it's not like it can't happen. It's just that you got to be willing to put the work in. You got to be willing to sacrifice a whole lot in order to make this work. You got to be willing to do that. I can give you all the information in the world, but if you don't do it, it ain't gonna work. All right. So here's step 2. Let's just assume hypothetically, for the purpose of part 2 of this discussion on the power of a financial plan, let's just assume hypothetically that you have $1,000 put up. Should you put up $10,000? No. Why should you not put up $10,000? Because you need to start putting some of that money towards what you're doing in the middle of step 1 and step 2. There's money that should be used in the middle of step 1 and step 2 so that when you start putting money into step 2 of paying off consumer debt, I want you to simultaneously do it. So you got to be very strategic. What do you mean? Here's what I mean. If you did step 1 and you put $1,000 aside, right? And you follow my instructions on either starting a 1099 side hustle or my perfect recommendation is for you to start a business. Even if you're not going full time in business, you're just going to use that business, that EIN, so that you can start running certain income and expenses through it, because this is going to minimize your overall tax liability and is going to maximize your tax deductions. So you can't do this as a W-2 employee. You can do it as a 1099, but you can actually leverage more as a business owner, even if you're not running a business operation every day because you're working, but at least you have a business system to use. So the business system is going to be used as a vehicle, right? It's going to be used as a vehicle. You know, when you got a little money stacked up, I know people where I grew up at, you know, you could tell the dope dealers, because the dope dealers, they would have like a little regular car they drive through the week, but then they got the old Cadillac with trues and voles on it. You know, they got white walls on it. They're going to just jump in that on Sunday when they're going to ride through the park and show off, right? So they had a vehicle that they used through the week, right? When they was grinding and hustling. And then they had a vehicle that they drove on the weekend, but that vehicle was designated for certain purposes. Sometimes you got to use your business like that, even while you're W-2 or 1099. But having that at step one is going to give you wiggle room to do better when you start working on step two. And so the strategy is to get good at simultaneously investing a certain dollar amount back into your business while taking some of that other money and investing it into paying off debt. So you see what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden, let's say if you did step one and you got 1,000 and you start making a little extra money because you worked out all the strategies I'm telling you to work out at step one. So now you start getting a couple extra $100 in. Well, my personal recommendation is that you take a little bit of that money and you put it in your business, and then you take some money and then you start paying off your consumer debt and you start working it. Because here's why I say this, and this is a very strategic process. Remember, I say a financial plan needs to be a practical step-by-step solution and strategy-based process. So why is this important? Because your consumer debt problem is a result of your behavior. It's a result of your habits, and it's a result of a lack of enough income. But sometimes a lack of income either comes from bad habits, bad behavior patterns, or you're just not making enough money. But there's no way you have debt problems and you don't have one of these three problems, if not all three. It's just impossible. It's just impossible. Like me and my wife, I keep telling y'all my same stories because like I'm living proof of what I'm telling you. I remember me and my wife didn't have bad behavior problems. We didn't have bad habits. Everything good? Is it still on? Oh, I'm still on? Oh, okay. I didn't have bad behavior problems or habit problems. I had income problems. So it's not like I was around here, you know, balling out of control and just goofing off with a whole lot of money. Me and my wife, we still not like that. But we didn't have enough income. We didn't have enough income. So our behaviors and our habits were not like over lavish. It's just that we had a lot of responsibilities for ourselves, for our children, for our household. We had duties. My wife and I, we had a church that we were running. So we had to support our church. We had a business that we were building. So this is where I learned how to do both of those at the same time. So it wasn't like I was taking 100% of all this new income and paying off all my consumer debts. I was taking a certain percentage of that. I would tackle that, but then I was also putting some in my business. You get what I'm saying? So now if I get an extra $1,000, I'm gonna put $500 in my business, and then I'm gonna pay a credit card off with $500. Then, because I want that $500 to go make me some more money. Or if I had $800 that I made extra after my bills, I might put $600 towards my debt and take $200 and put towards my business. So all of a sudden, I was in a position to start executing step 2. Now, I'm going to be talking about this more. But again, somebody asked me this question. Somebody asked me this question, pay off all consumer debt. Somebody asked me this question, well, how do you pay off all your consumer debt? Well, here's what I'm going to say to you. Number one, I'm not a credit repair expert. I'm not a debt consolidation expert. I just got to be honest with you. I've never worked with a debt consolidation company. I've never worked with a credit repair company. My wife and I, we've been in real estate since we've been married, so we have an in-house lender on our team. We've worked with so many lenders, and we've learned a lot about credit and debt from lenders in the real estate arena. Hard money lenders, private lenders, private equity funds. We've worked with people in different capacities, and so we've learned a lot about the credit world and the banking world and the debt world. It's not that we're experts. All I'm saying to you is you may or may not need a credit repair person or a debt consolidation person. So I'm not going to tell you to go which way. I'm going to tell you what I did. Here's what me and my wife did. My wife and I had we had consumer debt. I guarantee you we had at least $150,000 worth of debt. Easy. My sister's in here today. She'll tell you. Because I used to have her go to my house like, Kelly, how many credit cards you used to see coming through that mail? Is Kelly in there? Oh, she in there. Oh, no, never mind. She in there. She in the office. Yeah, my sister, she used to, huh?
Yes.
No, I was saying how many credit cards you used to see coming through that mailbox?
In 1 week, it was probably like 10.
I used to call Kelly if I was out of town, be like, hey, go by, when you check the mailbox, if you see, I was like, you see some envelopes? She's like, yeah, I see Chase. I see Capital One. I see, man, I was the credit card king, y'all. I'm telling you. So I'm probably being conservative when I say at the height of my debt and at the start of my 5-step millionaire plan, I probably had at least $150,000. Maybe 100 of that was credit cards. Literally. I know I had about 50 credit cards. And you like 50? 50. I'm telling you. I had so many credit cards, I stopped counting. Because, you just start getting them and you start living off them. But again, that's when you know you got an income problem. Of course, you got a behavior problem, a habit problem, but you got an income because I wasn't making enough income. So I had to lean on consumer debt. And so I'm just telling you what we did. When me and my wife got to step 2 and we was ready to start paying off debt, remember, we was putting all the extra money that we had coming in, we was putting some aside for our business. And then we started stacking it up for paying off our consumer debt. Now, if you are not, you should be disciplined enough, meaning that if you got $1,000 over here you put aside to pay off credit card debt and you're just waiting to pay it off, you shouldn't keep dipping back over here taking money from that. That money should be missing in your mind. If you can't miss money in your mind because it's in your checking account, you have a mindset issue. You got to work on that. You got a habit issue. You got a behavior problem, and it ain't your money problem. It's you the problem. So back to my point. We had money that we start stacking. We just start putting money over here. And this money we knew was all designated for consumer debt. And guess what me and my wife did? My wife and I, we paid to get we got one of those thorough, like there's a certain report that we got, and we had one of our attorneys and lenders tell us about different reports that we could get that pulls up information that might not show up like on, what is the like Credit Karma or just the basic credit report. So we ended up getting this big credit report showing us all the information, all the numbers and the names of our stuff. And guess what me and my wife did? We sat down. We had all this money in an account. We counted up the total dollar amount of what we owed, and we said, you know what? If we owe 150, we might have said, okay, we're gonna see if we can pay 100 grand and get it all settled. We're gonna settle everything. We're gonna see if we can pay it all off. But again, we might have had 50 creditors we needed to call. But we did the work. I'm not saying you can't get somebody else to do the work. I know you got people who can dispute it where you ain't got to pay. I didn't go that route. I went the route of, you know what? I got into all this debt. I'm going to get out of this debt. That's the route I took. I'm not telling you what route to take. But what I'm saying is, if you're trying to finesse your way out of this, because you listen to everybody who's just trying to be slick and figure their way out, you're doing it wrong. Because you ain't even thinking about getting more money just to go ahead and knock it out. And me and my wife, we sat down. I promise you, my wife can vouch for this. We literally called every creditor. We called every creditor, period. And guess what? We paid off all our debt. It wasn't all at the same time. It might have been 15,000 here. It might have been 28,000 here. It might have been 2,600 here. It might have been 12K here. But when it was all said and done, guess what we did? We paid off all consumer debt, and we made a promise. We made a promise to God. We made a promise to ourselves. We ain't never getting in unnecessary consumer debt. And when I say unnecessary, what I mean is we probably still got 3 or 4 credit cards, and we don't even use them. We don't even use them. We got them. They have a balance, you know, there's a certain amount you could spend, but it's like we don't owe nothing on them. We just got them because every once in a while we might get a rental car, or maybe something that goes on and they be like, hey, if you use a debit card, you're going to have to do this, or you use a credit card, and we be like, go and use the credit card. And we use it and we just pay it off before that money's out. Kind of like how you do American Express. You pay it before that cycle is up. That's the only reason why we got them. Now, I don't have a problem with capital debt. I'll get in debt in a minute when it comes to capital debt, especially if it's for the purpose of leveraging an investment opportunity that will become an income producing asset or business or investment for me. That's for another conversation. But again, number 2 is pay off all consumer debt. And when you're paying off all consumer debt, you can't keep getting in the same doggone debt. So guess what? My wife and I, we had 2 cars at the time. Guess what we did? We got rid of it. We got rid of it. I be talking to people all the time, and they be telling me how they got all these financial problems. Me and my wife be talking about it together. It's like, oh, you got all these financial problems, but you living like you don't. You living like you don't. Me and my wife, we had 1 car. There was one time me and my wife had 1 phone. And I had a prepaid phone. I don't care what nobody was thinking about me. I had a prepaid phone. We had 1 car. Guess what? Me and my wife are millionaires. Me and my wife are good. We good, and we gonna always be good. And we have put ourselves in a position where it's gonna stay that way, and I wanna be a billionaire. But guess what? Today, as I talk to you, what's the day? The day is February 17th, 2022. I can go get another car if I wanted to, because I haven't had another car. Me and my wife have been driving 1 car. Okay, it's a nice car, but guess what? We still got 1 car. We just got to figure it out. And we're so used to doing it the way we do it, we don't even look at it like, oh my God. So me and my wife, we were just talking about moving this year. Finally, after 4 years, we've been living in like a 1-bedroom condo. And we talk about moving, and we're going to get us some more space, and we're going to get our stuff out of storage. We done had stuff in storage for 4 years, nice stuff too. And we having this conversation, and we were just talking about it the other day, and I was like, you know what? I said, man, I'm going to go get me another car. I'm going to get me a car. She was like, you finally going to get one after 4 years? I said, yeah, I'm going to finally go get a car after 4 years. But I'm just showing you, If I did not have that mindset, how many times within the last 4 years would the average person went and got another car? You know how much money I've saved in the last 4 years because I didn't go get a car, whether I financed it, leased it, or paid it off. I didn't need it. I didn't need it. I didn't need it. I done bought a car for somebody else and didn't even buy one for me in the last 4 years. But guess what? I'm gonna do what I gotta do. So I'm not saying what I'm telling you is gonna work for you, because you might not be willing to make the sacrifices I was willing to make. But see, where I want to go in life and where I want to be in life and the peace of mind I want to have and the financial freedom I want to have and the ability to come and go where I want to come and go, that's more important to me than me and my wife having a car. That's more important to me than me living in 8,000 square feet. That's way more important to me, so that when I do go get another car, when I do move into a bigger place, when I do all these things, guess what? I can do it and be at peace. Like, I got this, I wish I could show y'all, you probably already done seen the pictures or the videos. I got this whole suite over here in the middle of Buckhead on the 10th floor of this high rise for my business. My business got more square footage than my own house. That goes to show you where my mind is, because this is what's taking care of me. This is what's feeding me. I only need to go home and take a bath, eat, and get in the bed with my wife and wake up and leave. So I got way more space over here than I do over there, but I'm showing you this is the mindset you're gonna have to have if you're gonna win. Now, if you don't want to win, if you don't want what I'm telling you, I'm not talking to you. But for you that want it, you better hear me. You better start moving that stuff out your way, because you got too much baggage. So again, we paid off all consumer debt. Now, why would we have paid off all that consumer debt and I go out there and finance another car? It's just dumb. It's just stupid. No, I'm not doing that. Now, I ain't gonna tell you I ain't gonna get another car when we move, because we finna move. Because I done told her we're going to get a 2-car garage and I'm going to go get me another car. But until that time come, I'm not going to do it. Man, that's it. I'm not even going to go to the third step. That's step 2. That's consumer debt. So here are some things that you shouldn't be doing when you're paying off consumer debt and or once you pay off consumer debt. And don't give me this lame excuse. Well, I'm going to just get a credit card because I'm going to just blah, blah, blah. You can't even afford to even have that because you know you won't have the discipline. You know you ain't got the discipline. Every time you pay something on it, you go spend it. Because I did it. I know how it works. I know the game. You can't trick me on that. So you shouldn't be getting no payday loans. You shouldn't be getting no payday advances. I'm telling you the truth. You shouldn't even be going to buy here, pay here to get you a car. You shouldn't go to buy here, pay here to get you a car. You shouldn't be financing cars with high interest rates when you know you can't afford it. You giving your money away. You giving your wealth away. I did that crazy behind stuff so many times because I was uneducated. And if you think it's okay, I'm telling you it's because you don't have enough education when it comes to money. If you think going to get a car at an interest rate that's so high, you pay for that car 3 to 4 times over the course of 5 to 6 years, if you're doing that, it's because you do not have the right financial education. And we all have been there. How many cars have I done that with? My first car was a Toyota. What was my second car? Mitsubishi. What was my third car? My Range Rover. I did that with my Range Rover back in 2014 when I bought it too. I put a big down payment so my payments was low. I put a big down payment because the Range Rover cost so much. So I wanted the payments to be low, but I still shouldn't have did it with the interest rate that I got. But because I wasn't educated like I am now, so I did it with 3 cars. And just think if I add the dollar amount of how much I have paid just for those 3 cars, If I add that up, I remember I did that 4 years ago. If I add that dollar amount up and I didn't even have that much in savings, man, I was sick to my stomach. I started adding up the dollar amount of how much I just put in cars that I no longer have at the time, right? And I looked at my savings account or my checkings account and I didn't have that, and I was like, oh my God, Ramon, you stupid, dog. Like, you is goofy. But I was not educated about this stuff. And I did not have a financial plan. And as hard as it was for me to accept it, as hurt. I mean, man, I had a pit in my stomach when I started doing that math 4 years ago. But guess what? I made the decision, I'm never gonna let that happen again. I don't care if I got to give up everything. I told my wife that over and over again. I say, we finna leave this house, I'm finna get rid of this car, I'm getting out of this building, and we finna go live in a 1-bedroom, 800 square feet, and we gonna grind. And I don't wanna hear nothing about nothing. And she was like, me neither. Because we both were sick of it. And that's why today, 4 years later, even though we are in the financial position we in, we're talking about moving, we're talking about getting another car, and then like every couple of days, it's like, I don't even know, do I really want to do that? We so slow to do it because we never want to be put back in a position where we pressed. I don't never want to be in that position. I don't never want to be in that position. That's why I wake up every day and I go. So anyway, if you want access to my 5-step millionaire plan for free, all you have to do is go to RamonPreston.com/for free, baby. Go to RamonPreston.com/free. And there you're going to get access to my personal playbook. This is my playbook. This is the same 5-step plan that I use. It's my financial plan. I don't care what other people say about what kind of financial plan they got. If they telling you, oh, I got a financial plan, this is what I'm gonna do in 3 years, and I'm gonna do that in 5 years, and I'm gonna do this in 8 years, and when I do this, I'm gonna do that, and when I do that, I'm gonna do this. All that ain't nothing but a bunch of words. You need numbers, you need data points, you need milestones, you need step-by-step solution and strategy-based processes. And if you follow these 5 steps, I already guarantee, like I'm gonna talk about step 3 tomorrow, and then Monday I'm gonna talk about step 4. If you think step 1, step 2, and step 3 is hard, wait until you get to step 4. Step 4 is the hardest. Step 3 is saving 6 to 12 months of total income. Step 4 is the 40% rule. Let me tell you something. That's the hardest thing to do, is live by that 40% rule. Me and my wife, since we started this journey, we may have missed the 40% rule like by a few percentage points for a couple months here or there. But for the most part, we stay under it because we realized that we had to live beneath our means. So as I said, if we were in the mindset we was in, let's say 15 years ago, and had the financial stability that we have now and the opportunities economically we have now, we would probably be in a $5 million house. Man, we finna go get a bigger house. Man, we finna go get more cars. Man, we finna go ball out and just wear everything designer. We finna go buy diamonds and everything. We just finna flex. Man, well, we never would have done that 15 years ago either. But my point is, we would have lived above our means just in terms of cars or homes maybe. And so because we put ourselves in that 40% rule threshold, we always live way beneath our means and we don't go over that. And that has literally, like, I know some people be telling you, oh, put 10% up. Man, that's listen, don't take that advice. When somebody telling you, oh, just put 10% up. You know, you make 100%, you give God 10%, and then you put 10% up. You ain't gonna never get free financially. Put no doggone 10% up. You can't get free like that. What you need to do is step 4. Step 4 is the 40% rule. How can you live off 60% and move that 40 over? When me and my wife started doing that, We still do it. I don't care how much money I got coming in every month, 40 of that don't count. 40 of that don't count. Because now I got a habit of doing it. I'm obsessed with doing it because I'm like, oh, shoot. Once me and my wife did it for the first time, we couldn't do it because we had credit card debt. Hey, let me give you another scenario real quick since we on step 1 and 2. Look at the total dollar amount of money you spend right now on a mortgage if you got a mortgage. If you have a mortgage, I'm not even going to use mortgage. I'm going to just say credit. I'm going to just say car. I'm going to say credit cards. I'm going to say loans or any debts that would be considered consumer debt. That could be any debt that's considered consumer debt, okay? So I want you to just take the dollar amount of how much you pay for the car, how much you pay a month on credit cards, how much you pay on loans, how much you pay on debt. And if you're really like honest with yourself, look at all the fun stuff you paying money for, whether it's cable, whether you know, all this stuff you do, whether it's eating out, you know, whether it's the cleaners, just a lot of extra stuff. I want you to just take at least these: car, credit cards, loans, and debt, and I want you to figure out how much money that is every month you paying out. Because here's what I want you to see. That dollar amount could be going towards your business every month. That dollar amount could be set aside for you to find an investment opportunity. That's money that you're never going to get back. When I figured that up and I learned that, I was like, oh man. Because what's happening is, whatever that total dollar amount is, let's just say the car is, let's just say it's $400. Let's just say you got a loan where you're paying about $200 a month. Let's just say you got other debt, just little debt here and there that might be $100 a month. We just gonna lowball it. And let's say you got a couple credit cards where you paying about $100 a month. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's just say you got $800 a month. Most people got way more than $800 a month they paying in cars, loans, credit cards, and debt. But let's just say a low number, $800 a month. 8 times 12, what's that? That's 8,000, that's 9,600. That's $9,600 every year that could be going towards a business, or it could be going to, but you're just looking at 9,600. But what you don't understand is if you added compound interest to that, this is the part that most people don't know about. If you added compound interest to that, to a bank, that's not $9,600. A bank knows they can take that $9,600 out and they can loan it out at least 10 times with a 3 to 4% interest rate. And now that 9,600 easily becomes 96,000 with a 3 to 4% interest rate. They know how to turn that $9,600 into $100-something thousand over the course of the next 10 years. But we've given that money away for so long that we don't even do that kind of math. So I want you to go to RamonPreston.com/free if you want that 5-step millionaire plan for yourself. If you would like all of the hundreds of courses that we provide in our Millionaire Blueprint that correspond and complement those 5 steps, all you have to do is text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. If you text the word millionaire to that number, we can talk to you and share more information with you about our entire Millionaire Blueprint that not only gives you access to the 5 steps and to the tutorial walkthroughs, but all the courses that you need to complement and correspond to each step. We provide that for financial literacy, entrepreneurship, starting and structuring holding companies, real estate investing, and family wealth building. And we're in the process of adding new courses to it. We add new courses to it on a regular basis. We have workshops for financial systems. We have holding company workshops. We have sales and marketing training courses in here. We have a lot of content in this Millionaire Blueprint because it is my personal Millionaire Blueprint. It's the same process that I've used with these 5 steps to get to where I am. And there are a lot of people who are using this program to get to where they want to be. So text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. Hey, give me some feedback on today's show. Let me know what you think about what we're sharing. Maybe you can give me a little insight on where you are and what exactly you are doing to put a financial plan together, or maybe to execute a financial plan. I would love to hear from you. For all of you that are in South Florida, 1 week from today, we're going to be hosting a community pep rally in Stuart, Florida. So if you're anywhere close to South Florida, Martin County, Florida, I would love for you to swing by. You can look at any of our social media pages and find the flyer for the event. We're going to be hosting that community pep rally next Thursday, February the 24th, and that Friday and Saturday, the 25th and 26th, I'll be in Fort Pierce, Florida, hosting a 2-day revival. That's going to be absolutely amazing as well. So I love all of you. Want you to have an amazing Thursday. I look forward to seeing you. Tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on the Ramon Preston